Now, I have put here some really simple best practices of reporting for you guys. Maybe they're too simple, but I just thought that sometimes we forget these things. And I put a little bit of an example about what we do wrong with bar charts. So the first thing I want to ask you is, like, you see a lot of reports with people putting January, February, March horizontal. Please don't do that. Don't do that again. No one can read that. It's a bad practice. Secondly, when you put bar charts and you leave so much space between them, also don't do that, because then you can't actually see the relationship between the different months or the different pieces of the data. If you're putting an axis which is not at 0 value, people can't understand the difference. So you actually have to try to start at 0. So it's simple things, but I have catch myself doing. Use of colors, be careful with the use of colors. Sometimes we use so many colors in the data, but changing colors means you're trying to say that something is different, right? But if it's not, then why are you using colors? Just because you think it looks cool is not enough for it to need colors. And lastly, try to order data appropriately. Now, I am dyslexic to a maximum level of dyslexia that you can get, so I don't actually see order. But for people who actually are not dyslexic, like Brian, for example, he sees a list and he's like, oh, this is terrible, man. It's not in order. Why is it not alphabetically correct? And I'm thinking, I didn't even realize about that. But it depends on the type of mindset or personality you have, right? Now, pie charts. If you have a pie chart and the values are more than 5 categories in a pie chart, that means you should not use a pie chart, because no one cares about the 15 other categories that are only 1%. You should focus only on the things that actually add any value. And if you use 2 pie charts in the same graph, I mean, that's like really nonsense, because you actually not understand anything what is in the graph. So please don't use those ones either. Make sure that the data adds up to 100. I've been in so many presentations where people present me pie charts and the data adds to 150. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Brian has seen this type of presentation. I think I even did it myself. And it's, once people cannot add the numbers, they actually immediately think, oh, your data is fake, or your data is wrong. So then they don't take you serious. Fake news. So you have to be careful with those things, because they seem like nothing, but they mean everything if you're trying to pass a message. Well, the last thing, line charts. Same thing, include 0 in the baseline, and please don't plot more than 4 lines in the same line. No one can get them. No one is like, sincerely, probably you've seen them too, and you think, oh man, this is a mess. But anyway, I'm just gonna put it in the presentation. Just don't do it. And using solid lines only is the best practice, because people don't understand what you're trying to say when you put little points and little dots in the presentations. Lastly, and this is something I catch myself doing all the time, which is label the lines directly, is that I always label them with colors, but when you have 5 categories in it, no one knows which one is which one. And lastly, the use of right height, right? When you're using graphs, you can actually, we can influence data, right? And that's the whole thing with the statistics, and this is the whole thing with data visualization. You can do data, tell whatever story you wanted to tell, right? You can make it longer and it looks like the growth is not so much. You can make it shorter and the growth seems like a lot, right? So it's all about perception, right? Because human is about perception. So just be careful with that usage of data. Lying is not terribly bad, but it's just not so good. Now, just to finish, I just want to give you a couple of books that I read to come out with this presentation, which I thought they were awesome. And initially, I didn't know much. But at the end, I knew a lot. And it was pretty awesome to be able to learn to give you this little speech. And thank you very much.